This guy lives for a worthy fight, especially when we're talking about equality. That's exactly what we're talking about here. I'd also like to thank the President and Vice President for their support, and for anybody that's confused, specifically for that building right over there, this is what winning looks like. Equality and respect are what our founding fathers declared as humans we are owed. Such has been the fight against any empire or institution that benefits from having second-class citizens. I'm very proud of my union president, for my negotiating team, for my union leaders and support. They've been absolute soldiers in the middle of this. To paraphrase Dr. King, we are gathered here today because our conscience leaves us with no other choice. This is a worthy fight that we're in. It's a fight for our families and for future families. And if you're not willing to fight for those things, what are you willing to fight for? I leave you with the immortal words from Rage Against the Machine. It's got to start someplace. It has to start sometime. What better place than here, and what better time than now? Hold the line.
Thank you, Todd. Did a great job. Another round of applause for Todd. I want to start by saying thank you all. Thank the city of Battle Creek. Thank Senator Sanders. Thank all the locals and unions that have come out to support us. We really appreciate you all. And man, I could shed a tear at the support that we have experienced over the past 2 months. So thank you all. Give yourselves a round of applause, please. So like Todd, I'll start with a quote from Dr. King. In the end, we will not remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Let me tell you about silence. I was silenced for a week after we walked out October 5th. Silenced because I wouldn't be silenced before that. I won't be silenced when our union brothers and sisters, a third of us, make a third less and taking less benefits than what we ourselves take. We can't be silent, not at a time like this. It takes integrity for people with very little on the line to risk it all by leading their families out on the streets. This two-tier wage system fight, it's about integrity. It's going to take a strong backbone to fight against the Kellogg Corporation. I have been proud every day standing beside my brothers and sisters on these picket lines. The weather has been the worst that I've had to stand out for in my life. The freezing rain, the wind, it's a battle. It's worth it. This battle started years ago, long before I came here. The fight against corporate greed has been one that we have seen through and through take place here in America. It's not one that will be lost, not on my watch. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. With that being said, I would also like to thank the family members that we have that are at home. Those that may not be able to make it to the picket line. Those that don't sit in the union meetings, who may not see these tentative agreements. I want to say to you all, thank you for the sacrifices that you all have made. Not to mention the sacrifice that you made sending your family members into that plant 365 days a year. Your family members not being able to come to the special events that you have, the family dinners that they have to miss. I want to say thank you all. And I pray that you stand strong in supporting your union member as they leave that house every day. But just know this, BCTGM Local 3 will not ask anything of you that we ourselves are not willing to do and not willing to sacrifice. Thank you all.
How are we all doing out here today? As you all know, the news kind of broke yesterday about a tentative agreement. I've been trying to process that information for 24 hours to really come out here and still give the rally that you all deserve, okay? I'm going to attempt to use this time here. Donovan and Todd both did an excellent job. Thanking everybody. We also obviously thank Bernie Sanders for coming out. But I really, I need to use this time to explain to everyone what we've been doing, okay? We set out, took this fight on that the company insisted upon us having to take care of the future. We did this for the long term. This was not something that we did for the short term. This was not something that we were looking to fix for the next 3 to 5 years, okay? The tentative agreement that we will be voting on Monday, that's exactly what it's doing. It's a Trojan horse that's been given to us that's going to allow us to basically harm ourselves down the road, okay? We fought against an alternate work schedule. We weren't going to take an alternate work schedule. What the company's going to do is they're going to fill these facilities with these workers that we were essentially fighting to get rid of the classification altogether. So, when you look at what we're doing here, it's grabbed the national media, it's grabbed the attention of every single middle-class working American. Everyone is sick and tired of working every single waking moment of their life. We literally have to do this just to have somewhat of what's referred to as a comfortable living. Yes, I'm tired. I'm tired. We're all tired. You know who's not tired? That building over there. They're not tired. They're not tired of us working 7 days a week, 12, 16-hour days. They do. They have half-day Fridays over there. Tell them, brother. Tell them. Again, what they believe is sustainable is my brothers and sisters working themselves to death. That is the only thing they find sustainable. Okay? And when I say that, I don't say that lightly. As a fourth-generation worker here, my grandpa lived a whopping 1.5 years after he left. My dad didn't even make it that long. I want you to understand what this corporation is doing. They're doing the same thing that every corporation across America is doing, and they're exploiting us. That's what we're here to do, to stop the exploitation of the middle-class worker. BCTGM Local 3G will not stop. We will not stop fighting. We will not give in until that is attained. So for any of my other locals that are out there hearing this, Trevor did not set out to come in here and save Battle Creek jobs. I came out here to save grain miller jobs everywhere. And when we look short-sighted and we don't consider the future, when we don't look 15 years ahead, we're failing our future. We will not do that. We will stand tall. We will stand strong. Thank you all very much. With that, I'd like to introduce Bernie Sanders.
Let me thank BCTGM for inviting me here. Let me thank Todd and Donovan and Trevor for their remarks. Let me thank everybody for coming out. And I'm here today not just because you are on strike. I'm standing here today because you have had the incredible courage right here to take on corporate greed. And all over this country, working people are looking at you and they're saying, thank you for your courage. What's going on in this country today is a disgrace. What we are seeing is massive levels of income and wealth inequality. What we are seeing is working people struggling to put food on the table, and the fact is that over the last 45 years, despite a huge increase in worker productivity, the real inflation accounted for wages for workers is no higher than it was 45 years ago. But you know who is doing phenomenally well? It's the people on top. We are living in a country in which two people now own more wealth than the bottom 40% of America. Where the 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 92%. Where 45% of all goes to the top 1%. I'll tell you what corporate greed is about. Corporate greed is about CEOs who make $12 million a year and then have a two-tier system which lowers wages for incoming workers. Corporate greed is about telling workers here at Kellogg's who have worked incredible hours, whose dads and moms and their grandparents worked for this country. They're saying that when you go out on strike, we are prepared to bring in permanent replacement. People, as Trevor have just said, given their lives to this company. Their parents gave their lives to this company. And let me say to Kellogg's, you don't treat people who gave their lives to your company by threatening them with permanent replacements. And I'll tell you something else. If you love America, and I have all, come from the Senate, every politician there, how much they love America. They got the big American flags. If you love America, you love the workers. And if you love American workers, you don't ship their jobs to desperate people in Mexico and pay them 90 cents an hour. And what has amazed me, and I don't think the American people know this, but this really amazed me, and I learned this just talking to some of you, that during this pandemic, you were the people who helped feed America. And I want to tell you something because I really don't understand it. I don't understand how there are people here, I don't know how you do it, who work 7 days a week, week after week after week. And I want America to know this, because I don't think they do. That you're looking at people who have worked 50 days in a row, 60 days in a row. I talked to somebody, worked 120 days in a row, and those, as I understand it, weren't even 8-hour days, 12-hour days, 16-hour days. That is insane. And what that does to people, to your life, to your family, is hard to know. But there's one thing that I do know, is that when people make that kind of sacrifice, when their families make that kind of sacrifice, you don't treat those workers with disrespect and contempt. What you say to those workers and their families is thank you for helping to save America during the pandemic. And thank you for the incredible sacrifices that you have made. So what this strike is about is sending a message not just to Kellogg's, but to every corporate CEO in this country. And that is what we are saying is that in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, you've got to give workers a fair shake. You can't get it all. Working people in this country want dignity, they want respect, they want to be able to raise their families with a decent middle-class income, and they don't want to work 100 days in a row. So our message to corporate America today, not just to Kellogg's, but to all of these large corporations, is stop the corporate greed. Start worrying about your workers and not just your CEOs. Stop outsourcing our jobs and create an economy that works for all of us and not just the few. And let me take this opportunity to read you a letter from the President of the United States of America. Dear VCTGM International Union members, you, the American worker, are the backbone of America. I've always believed that the middle class built this country and that unions built the middle class. Your right to bargain collectively is an essential tool that protects your livelihoods, contributes to your company's success, and ensures our economy works for working people. That is why I will continue to aggressively defend collective bargaining and workers' rights to a free and fair choice to organize a union. You have persevered through this pandemic and challenging economic times. Through it all, you have continued to fight for the dignity and respect you and workers across this nation deserve. My message to you is keep the faith. In solidarity, Joe Biden. So I want to just thank you all very much, not only for your willingness to stand up for justice, but for inspiring people all across this country. I don't know if you knew this, if any of you knew this, but some young people in Buffalo, New York, just last week, became the first, that's right, the first people to organize in a Starbucks coffee shop. And people in the healthcare industry, the nurses, standing up and fighting for decent contracts. And people in Nabisco standing up. Frito-Lay standing up. All across this country, working people are saying enough is enough. We want dignity, we want respect, we want justice. Thank you all very much.